Today I'll be sharing with you the rarest Bruce Lee magazines in existence, and it's coming right up. Hey guys, Charles Damiano back from the Bruce Lee collection for another exciting episode. And in this episode I'll be featuring some rare Bruce Lee magazines, probably the rarest Bruce Lee magazines in existence. And I'm not even sure if any of you guys have ever seen or heard of these magazines before. But before I show you these 9 Bruce Lee magazines, I want to give you the backstory of them. Just the other day, I got a phone call from one of my Bruce Lee friends by the name of John Negron. He's a huge Bruce Lee collector out of North Carolina. We had him featured on the channel numerous times. I visited his home in North Carolina on a number of occasions, and we filmed all 3 of his Bruce Lee rooms. We did walkthroughs of those rooms. We featured a lot of his Bruce Lee collectibles. He has probably one of the biggest collections on Bruce Lee in the world. I know just recently he categoried about 10,000 magazines on Bruce Lee that he has featured Bruce Lee on the cover of, which is simply mind-boggling to think that there was 10,000 magazines plus that Bruce Lee was featured on the cover of. He was probably the most photographed and featured celebrity in the world. And today I'm proud to share with you 9 of the rarest Bruce Lee magazines that John came across in his collection. So when I got the phone call from John, he said, "Charles, man, I think we need to do an episode on these magazines that I just located. I've never seen them before. I never heard of them before, and I think your fans would love to see them get featured on your channel." And I said, fantastic. He got me all excited. So there's a big backstory to these magazines because the 9 Bruce Lee magazines came out of the country Iran, and they were written in the language of Iran, which is Farsi, which is the only country that speaks that language. And these magazines were put out back in the 70s when Bruce Lee hit the big screen and his movies went overseas, and they were introduced to Bruce Lee as well, and the whole Bruce Lee craze and frenzy started just like it did here in the United States. So John bumped into someone the other day that he came across that had these 9 magazines, and he told John about them, and John got all excited. And rather than me telling you the whole story of how the magazines came about, what makes them so rare, I rather you hear it from John Negron himself. So what I had John do is do a self-tape of him talking about the story, how he obtained these 9 Bruce Lee magazines, where they came from, what makes them so rare, and I think you're gonna find the story as fascinating as I did. So for now, sit back as you hear John Negron, biggest Bruce Lee collector in the world probably, talk about these 9 Bruce Lee magazines that were put out in Iran and written in Farsi, which is the language of Iran, that he obtained and saw for the first time. So John, take it away.
Welcome, Bruce Lee fans and collectors. Today myself and Charles have a special treat for you. I'm going to show you 9 magazines that could possibly be the rarest magazines in the world. Yes, you heard that right, in the world. I'm going to first start by giving you the complete history of them. I recently met a Middle Eastern gentleman that lived 3 doors down from Bruce's daughter Shannon in the Palisades in California. During the fires, Shannon's new renovated house along with my friend Nick's house were destroyed. Nick had a couple of other homes where some of his magazine collection was housed. Nick and Shannon's houses were among some of the 7,000 structures that were burned to the ground. Okay, so here goes. Iran in the 70s brought Enter the Dragon to their cinemas. It was an immediate hit and caused a frenzy just like in the US. The theaters in Iran were like palaces. They had 3 balconies, which these seats were more expensive the higher you went in the balcony. My friend describes it 2,500 seats. The movie played in a theater in Iran from 9 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night for 6 months. The impact Bruce made was just like here in the US. Kids coming out of the theater, screaming and kicking, imitating Bruce's ki, and going home, cutting up broomsticks as I did to make a pair of nunchucks. So going back, as Nick was telling me, it became fashionable to walk around with a pair of nunchucks around your neck. So during this time, everything in Iran was being influenced by Western culture, from films to music, customs, you name it. Fast forward to 1979, to the Khomeini Revolution. When this revolution came in 1979, the first thing they did was close down and burn all the liquor stores, since alcohol is illegal in the Islamic faith. Then they went after the cinemas and the warehouses that stored the films and posters and everything that was imported from the West and influencing Iran's population and its culture. The new revolutionary regime and the government authorities started burning everything, including these magazines, books, and film reels, and shutting down the grand cinemas. Now, how did these magazines survive? I'm going to show you. Before I continue, let me give you some points. Iran is a Shia Muslim faith nation. The Arab nations all around Iran in the Middle East are Sunni faith. So, out of all the Arab-speaking countries, Iran is the only one that speaks Farsi, not Arabic like the others. There are at least 30 countries in the Middle East, from North Africa to Iran, that speak Arabic, but only Iran speaks Farsi, not Arabic. So anything printed in Farsi is only from one country, and that's Iran. Arab items are more common because over the years, all these different countries printed various items. But Farsi items were extremely rare because they were only printed in one country, which was Iran. I want you to understand that only in Iran do they read from right to left. So now back to detail the history of the magazines. In Iran, before the revolution, there was a very huge collector of Western civilization collectibles named Ahmed Jorganian. And you can Google him. He's on Google. I went ahead and researched his history to find out how true it was about the history of these magazines and all this stuff that he's telling me about Iran. He collected film reels, books, magazines, posters, anything dealing with cinema. The magazines that I'm going to show you were in his collection. So the revolutionary authorities started to crack down on big collections, confiscating, burning, and destroying them, since they were considered dirty and illegal by the authorities at this time. Recycling had not started, so they were burning tons of what they call Western propaganda items. The government authorities were getting court orders. Now, could you imagine living like that here? Getting court orders and basically walking up to collectors' collections like Ahmed's, loading them up on trucks and taking them to storage warehouses and burning them. Could you imagine all my collectibles here just being gathered up, taken to a warehouse and burned? I just can't even imagine that. But anyway, so Mr. Jorganian's house was across from the Tehran University. One morning, without him knowing, the authorities showed up to confiscate his entire collection. Since he was a well-known cinema collector, the man in charge with the court order was a high-ranking military official. They started loading his collection up in a warehouse, and once they went to his collection, there was an old staircase in the warehouse where he lived. So the official going up and down the stairs supposedly twisted his ankle, fell off the stairs. So because of this, he was injured, and they sealed off the doors to Ahmed's house, okay? They sealed them so that he couldn't get in. They left some of the collectibles in there, but they took what they could until the man got injured, and they were going to come back to get them. So Mr. Jorganian and his friends went in through a small window, since they could not break the seal because it was a red lava type liquid type seal. So these magazines of Bruce Lee were the only survivors from his collection among other collectibles which he had at the time. Fast forward to 1990, where Nick, the man I purchased these magazines from, which is a friend of mine from the Palisades who lived next to Shannon, whose house burned down, told me the story of what happened to him. Unfortunately, Mr. Jorganian was crossing the street in 2014 and was hit by a motorcycle. He suffered what appeared to be maybe a concussion, but yet he said he was okay, not knowing that he had got fluid buildup in his head, and eventually later on, he would go into a coma and pass away. So remember, any pre-1979 magazines from Iran specifically are very, very rare, which is these magazines that we're about to show you. For two reasons. One, they were destroyed by the authorities. Two, when the 8-year war started with Iran and Iraq, they started a recycling campaign with the magazines, posters, and all that stuff for the war cause to recycle. And three, for these reasons, Farsy paper materials prior to '79 are extremely rare. Mr. Jorganian had no relatives, no kids, no wife to carry on his legacy. Although, like I said, if you go to Google, you will find information similar to what I'm telling you. The Arab countries run all the way from North Africa to Iran. They speak Arabic, but only one country, only one, which is Iran, speaks Farsi. And that's what these magazines are written in, Farsi. So they survived the Revolutionary War, they survived getting out of Iran, they survived the Palisades Fire, and now they're in my collection, which they will be cherished for a long time. In memory of Mr. Ahmad Jorganian, and thanks to Nick for helping me get them. Charles, there it is for your audience. I hope you guys enjoy these magazines. Peace and God bless.
Well, now that you heard John talk about these magazines, I'm sure you're all curious to see what these 9 magazines look like. So for now, sit back and enjoy the presentation of these ultra rare Bruce Lee magazines. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back. Wasn't that an incredible presentation of these 9 rare Bruce Lee magazines that John Negron just added to his collection? First, I'd like to thank John Negron for coming up with the idea of featuring these 9 magazines on the channel, and was kind enough to share those magazines with myself and the rest of the fans and collectors around the world who have an interest in Bruce Lee. So John, thank you so much, man, for not only the presentation, but obtaining those magazines. Congratulations to adding them to your collection. You have 9 of probably the rarest magazines in the world. And guys, if you guys have ever seen these magazines before or have them in your collection, please chime in. I'd love to hear if you've seen them or have them in your collection. Leave a comment below and let us know if you have these magazines in your collection. I'd love to hear from you guys. And second, I want to thank you guys for all your loyalty and support in starting out 2026 with us. You're going to see a lot more great content on Bruce Lee in 2026, so continue to follow. And for now, if you're new to this channel and haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free. All you do is have to hit the button, give the video a thumbs up, and share this video. And for now, Charles Damiano, as always, signing out from the Bruce Lee collection, saying have fun collecting, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.